Welcome, my fellow Trekkies. It's Brian the Grizzly here. I wanted to do another review. This one just talking about episode 10. It's really a series finale for Picard. It was amazing. I enjoyed the journey a lot. Kind of going over a little recap of what happened. So we left episode 9. Deanna telling Jack behind the red door is going to be his truth. Deanna helps him open that red door. And what do we get? We see the Borg ship. So the Borg have been behind all this since from the beginning. And that makes sense because they're probably the best villain that we've ever gotten in Star Trek: The Next Generation. They're always there. It does kind of conflict a little bit with season 2, but I'm not going to really harp on that. It felt good to have a villain that we know how villainous they really are because they've destroyed countless of planets and species in just assimilation. So the way that they've done this, they've actually transferred their technology organically through Picard. Because if you remember, Picard was Locutus before in the Next Generation. So 35 years later, they're finally getting their revenge on Starfleet. Basically, they used Picard's DNA. They added it to start the. Damn it! Okay, stop. All right, again. They used Picard's DNA and they added with the changelings and they added to the transporter. So everyone who uses the transporter is actually being assimilated into the Borg consciousness, which is huge. That's such a good idea. It's really just, adaptation. They're getting better and stronger. It's such a great plan. While all this is going on, so Starfleet's basically taken over now by the Borg because Jack goes on, sees the Queen. She brings him in, she assimilates him. So now he is speaking to all Starfleet. While he's doing that, Starfleet turns on the older people because the mind has to be younger than 25 years old to be assimilated to this process. That means all the old people that left the Starfleet are all the ones that are left on the ships. But all those ships are full of young people. It's like in any military. So they're taking over ships. They're taking over the entire fleet. The fleet is basically behaving as a collective mind. All that is going on. While that's happening, Picard is figuring all this stuff out. They know that the Borg are coming. We got to find the Borg. They're searching for them. They find them in Jupiter. Picard says, really, I hate to ask you guys to do this one more time with me. And Riker basically says it's something that we all know was coming. John, he says, understand, wherever you go, we go. Here's another little interesting point I saw in there. So the president of Starfleet of Earth was named Anton Chekhov. I thought that was really interesting. I don't know, maybe I'm looking more into it, but because of, what's his name? Anton Yelchin. He played Pavel Chekhov in the Starfleet Star Trek remake. And to take Anton and Chekhov and kind of make him the president, it was almost like paying homage to him. I thought that was a really good touch. Maybe I'm looking more into it, but I feel like that is a very good Easter egg. Yeah. So in his speech, he basically tells everyone to stay away from Earth, that the Borg have assimilated all their young. The fleet's being attacked. For everyone to kind of hide out, get away from them, and prepare. It was very selfless, and it was a good leadership move, and to tell everybody to stay away. I mean, everyone who's part of Starfleet that's connected to them. I thought that was a great message. So as I said, we find the Borg ship in Jupiter, and they know they're transmitting it to the collective. They have to have a huge antenna to be able to transmit to everybody. They find the vessel. I said, and they, while all this is happening, 7 to 9 is actually fighting because we saw the captain was actually killed in the end of episode 9. So 7 to 9 has now been made captain. Said, now this is your ship now. And so she has fought her way all the way to the bridge. Though the collectives know they're coming, they're trying to complete their one task. She comes in, she creates this beautiful portable beam me up with using a phaser, and they as they shoot them, instead of killing them, it literally beams them to the transporter. So they lock all the ones that were on the bridge into the transporter room. While they're doing that, they are able to take control of the ship. Taking control of the ship seems easy, but they're still being collectively controlled. The only way to stop that is because they're using line of sight, which means if they can see you, they can control you. But we already know in previous episodes they retrofitted the Titan with Borg technology, not Borg, with start over. Yeah. They retrofitted it with Cleon technology, so it's able to your phase shift, and we're able to do those things now. So they're using that. If they use that, they no longer are in control. So they have to go in, but they can't shoot out of that. So they come back in and they shoot, and then they go back out, and that's a really good idea, a really good way to use it. While that's happening, we go back to Picard, and Data's really just getting in his feelings. He's talking about how much he just hates the Borg. Them assimilated, them being so selfish. It's so terrible. Well, which is interesting because when they get there, you're in Jupiter. Instead of having their shields up, their shields are down, and it's almost like they're inviting them in. Like they know they're coming, and they're inviting them in. So of course the Enterprise goes in, and they use what's his name, Jack's brainwaves basically to locate him, because remember he should be the only human consciousness on that ship. So they're able to find out kind of where he is, whereabouts, but the interference is so much there that they really can't communicate once it's there. So Picard, Worf, and Riker decide to go onto the cube. Right to Deanna's dismay, she does not want them going. Obviously she loves Riker. They've been married. They have kids together. They're everything. They say their goodbyes, and it's in there that they kind of realize how much they mean to each other. And Picard gets choked up when he's trying to express to everybody, how much he needs them and he appreciates them. But it's just something that's common in this entire show. But they get there and they realize really the cube is empty. It's like someone is devouring all the rest of the collective in order to keep themselves alive. They decide that they need to split up. Riker is gonna go with Worf. They're gonna find a beacon, and Picard basically looks at them and tells them, "I can no longer be your captain because I have to be a father." For the first time in his life, this is a great fitting story. He realizes he cannot put Starfleet first. Being a father means more. It's refreshing seeing it from Picard, for him to finally understand what it is to love something more than yourself. And you see him going through that journey through his eyes as he goes further and further, all the steps going on throughout this entire season. It's amazing. So Picard, Riker, and Worf say their goodbyes. It's funny because once again, Picard gets choked up when he wants to express to Riker how much he cares and appreciates all his service and everything he's ever done for him over the years. And they're like partners in crime and everything. I mean, Riker has been there every step of the way for him, and he just can't even explain it. And Riker says, "You don't have to say it. I know." And that connection with them was just really deep. I love it. So Picard goes after Jack and the Borg Queen. He gets there, he sees him, and he's trying to release him, pulling on the wires, and she just tells him, "You can't do that." He has to choose to come out of this. If not, he's going to be stuck in this consciousness forever, and he'll never be able to get out. It'll be just like a maze of hell. So he stops, and he realizes he really can do nothing. The only thing he can do is hope that Jack can figure this out for himself. While that's happening, Riker or Worf find the beacon. They find two last little Borgs, and then Worf decides to use his sword on them, swinging, and then he's getting hit and he's getting hurt, and they're kind of pressed behind the beacon, and Worf says, "Grab my sword," and Riker tries to, and it's like 200 pounds. It's like basically it's like Thor's hammer, and he's like, "Well, how do you even swing this thing?" He said, "Oh, in the shaft," and he pulls the shaft, and it's a gun. So he's like, "Why wouldn't you use the gun the whole time?" He's like, "It's more fun for me to use a sword." That's such a Worf thing. That's why I kept it in his review. It just explains who they are. They know who these characters are, and they kept it throughout this entire episode and throughout this entire season. Season 3 has been very refreshing for me, because they know what's going on. It all made sense within their character. Though we're seeing them later, it's still their same character. Meanwhile, all that's happening. 7 to 9 finds. I told you she's broke away from the fleet using the cloaking device that they retrofitted earlier. She's doing it, but she's realizing they're able to track her movement. And we all know that even with cloaking device, they could use mathematics and different theories to be able to find out where you're going to go next. So they're actually starting to hit her. While that's happening, they're escaping out of the transporter room, and now she has to fight them coming up to the bridge along with what's going on. And Daystrom Station has now been destroyed. Earth's defenses are pretty much down, and they're now targeting every major populated U.S. city. They're trying to exterminate Earth, basically. They're not just trying to assimilate; they're trying to destroy all living beings from Earth. And if Earth goes down, the rest of Starfleet is just on its way too. This is where you stop. You have to stop them here, or they're going to keep on going, and they'll be everywhere. So we go back to Picard. He's trying everything to get through to Jack to leave the collective, and Jack's just like, this. I feel like this is where I belong. I've always belonged here. It's not until Picard decides, well, you know what, son? If this is where you're going to go, and this is where you want to die, then I'm being here with you. I promised myself for 35 years I'll never go back to being Locutus. But if you're here, I'm here. And he takes the wires and he reconnects into the collective. That's when Jack sees that. I think that Jack realizes that maybe he's not alone. Maybe he does have someone out there that loves him. He has his mother, but someone who's like him, very much like him, that he can share and bounce off ideas and all that stuff, that he'll never be alone because he's that much like him. Really a father. When you don't know, you don't know what you're missing. So, he finally knows what he has, and that allows him really to break free from all of it. While that's happening, Riker and Worf are able to break down. Oh no, actually, the ship, the Enterprise D, Data tells everyone, though they think it's impossible, he can navigate through the cube, get to that point where they know where it is, and destroy it. But they get there, which is amazing because Data's just loving the challenge, he can feel the joy coming off him. You can feel it off the screen as you're watching him. He's doing it, and he gets there, and they're about to shoot and destroy it, and Jordy said, "Stop." He said, "Data, do you notice that?" He said, "Basically, it's going to be a cascading explosion. If we kill this and we destroy this beacon, the entire ship is going to be destroyed, and everyone on it will also be dead." All right. So they're able to contact Riker and Worf and say, "We're going to beam you out of there." And Riker says no. And Jordy says, "Look, you'll have 1 minute to get this done. 1 minute. Once this is destroyed, before you're going to be destroyed too." And Riker says, "Jean-Luc has given me everything my entire life. The least I could give him is 1 minute," which is really weird because really he's giving Picard his entire life too. So this is just a mutual friendship that just keeps on going, keeps on growing. And I think that's kind of what they want you to understand, that these guys, this is a family in itself too. They will do anything they can for each other. And that's what we're seeing. So he goes back to go find Picard. Picard's already connected to the Borg. Jack finally wakes up and he sees his father connected, becoming Locutus again, and he pulls everything out himself, and he's ready to be released. Riker finds him, but there's no way they've already destroyed the beacon. So we got 20 seconds before the entire ship is gone. But I guess Riker's basically praying to his wife, just let her know "Hey, I love you. I'm going to be with our son. I cannot wait for you. We'll see you soon again." And Deanna uses her telepathic powers to really her psychic abilities to hear them, and she knows exactly where they are. The Enterprise D then goes right where they're going as it's exploding. They grab all four of them and they get out of there right before the cascading blows destroys the ship and destroys them, and they're able to get out. As soon as that happens, all the young Starfleet officers are released from the collective, and it basically saves Earth and saves everyone. Uh, that's exactly when the rest of the ones from the Titan, USS Titan, were getting to the bridge. So it saved 7 to 9, Rafi, everyone who was on the bridge, which was pretty awesome. After all that's going on, we start to see all the good stuff. So the Enterprise D returns to the Fleet Museum, where she's put to rest, um, as as one of the great ships of all time, as it deserves to be. And she's put to sleep basically by the three men who love her most. We got Picard there, we got Geordi there. It was like saying goodbye to an old friend, because the Enterprise D really is where we saw and we got to know all these people. Um, it was just a perfect ending, and Data had it was strong feelings now, was able to express how much he loved it. Um, Speaking of Data now is now speaking to Deanna, going through their counseling together, and he's just talking a lot about everything, all his feelings. And Riker comes in to talk to Deanna about their plans, and he's just like, "Yeah, how's Data doing?" And she looked at him and she goes, and he's like, "He's still batshit crazy." So that's kind of what's going on. So he's having these flood of emotions, and he's trying to deal with all of them. And it's crazy. Deanna and Riker are going on their first vacation since the loss of their son. Um, the tragedy of that, they're kind of moving on. They're taking that first step out of that purgatory they've been in, and it's refreshing to see them falling in love and being in love again, and be able to go past their past and look into their future. Um, we have the Doctor, Jack's mom. She's actually now become, since she's the one to figure out how to figure out who the changelings are, how to get them out of their bodies, how to check for everything. She's now become an admiral. So now she's an admiral. Picard's an admiral. So what's going on with Jack? Well, Jack decides to join Starfleet, which is great because that's what both his parents did, and he's being fast tracked right through it. So within a year, he's going to go on his first mission, go on his first voyage, and both Picard and they're going out there to just drop them off. They don't know what's going on. They don't know where they're going. Beverly basically says, we're just going off with you. This is dropping our son off for his first mission, and he's like, yeah, we're going on the thing, and he sees the Titan. So, oh man, your first one is the Titan, and he's like, well, it's no longer called the Titan. And as we see it, we rise above it, and we see that it's called the Enterprise G. They're doing it for Picard. And in respect to all the things he's done, did for him. Now, who's the captain of this said ship? Well, 7 to 9 goes through her review. She thinks that she's ready to just renounce Starfleet and go off and do her own thing. And they said no, and they bring back the captain and says 7 to 9 is totally different to me. I am an old fart. She is the future. She could do things. She won't just listen to you, but she will do great things. I'm so proud of her. I really want her to become captain. So they say, yes, no. So your resignation is denied. You are now captain. It's Captain 7 of 9. We appreciate you. And she goes off. So 7 to 9 is now going to be the captain of the Enterprise. Who's her first mate? Rafi. Rafi finally gets her recognition. She hasn't gotten it forever. So, but what Worf did, so he sent all the positive stuff about what happened, what Rafi did, sent it to her grandson and her son, and they want to meet her. And she finally is going to have the family, be able to hold on to that family that she lost because of the bad decisions she's made. So she's now got a family. She's now first mate on the Enterprise, which was hilarious because, her and 7 to 9 had that relationship. I felt very much like the Orville. If you know what the Orville is, we had the 3 seasons of that before on Hulu, and I loved it. I thought it was very Star Trek-esque. ish, then it's great that they did that, and I feel like that's where they're going with that. We're gonna have those type of those lines and that type of feeling because you know, the first mate and along with the captain have a previous relationship that's still kind of undefined. Um, so Jack is going on to the Enterprise, and what is he doing? Going? He doesn't know where he's going. He's on the bridge, and she says, "You sit right next to me. You will be special counselor to the captain." So he is basically in Deanna Troy's seat as they're going off on this new Christian Enterprise G. Overall, this season has just been, I mean, they really stuck the landing. You know how many times you have great seasons, great series that they just don't know what to do and don't know how to end, and they end so terribly they almost leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth. I feel like this stuck the landing. It knew what it was. It brought the old characters back, gave us the worst of the worst of villains. They knew how to fix it, and we still get our characters. We still get them to live off their lives. They know they're out there. And though this is called like the last generation, because it's really the ending of the next generation, it felt like still a to be continued because they had an end credit scene where Jack's in his room and Q comes out and basically tells him he's going to have to go through the trials of man because his dad is done, but it's now on to him. So what does that mean? That means we're going to have more. I mean, this is not the last Picard that we're going to have to deal with. I mean, Jack Picard will go through his stuff, his trials and tribulations, and we'll see where he could go. I think that I will watch them forever. I really do. I love this. I loved seeing. It's like seeing old family members at a family reunion, and that's the feeling I got with it. You know, we didn't lose anyone, which I know some people don't like that. You know, that none of the new people are gone. Jordy got keep both his daughters. They see him as a hero again because he is a hero. Jordy is such a hero. He was the one that Picard left as captain when he walked off the ship. Um, he has all those things, and this is what fandom has been clamoring for, especially for the next generation. The real Trekkies have been loving this. Uh, Seeing all of them there was amazing. I know I've also read some other people saying they wish that Jonathan Frakes would have been left as captain, but we already did that before. I think 7 to 9 doing it is she's younger, but she's wise enough to be a good captain and continue the story. And we could bring Voyager stuff into it, Deep Space Nine stuff into it. You can start merging the worlds, and she's the perfect one, but still having Picard by her side, and still having a Geordi, Geordi's kids by her side. It's a perfect merge. This was a perfect series, a perfect ending. They stuck the landing. I enjoyed it so much. There are times I teared up. There are times that I just felt joy. But at the end of the episode, I literally just went, because I felt relief. I felt fulfillment. And that's what you really want in the show. When you're going through whatever you're going through, you want to go into fantasy. You just want fulfillment from a show. And Picard season 3 did that. The series finale did that. And I just say thank you. This is the thing I really wanted. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to my review of season 3, episode 10, the series finale of Picard. I'm Brian Wall from Spoiler Kings. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. So please, if you like the video, like this video, subscribe, turn on your bell notification because we go live on Mondays and Thursdays. We talk about TV shows. We talk about comic books. We talk about movies, especially on Mondays. We love doing all these things, and we want to hear from you. So if you didn't like this, please go in the comments. Let me know. If you did like it, please let me know what you did like. Is there anything that I missed that I should be looking at? I've actually watched this episode now 3 times, and I've enjoyed it that much. I've continued to have those same feelings. So I know this is a solid episode. I know we didn't miss anything, and the writers knocked it out of the park. Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys later.